reality, they're going nowhere. How do I know they're going nowhere? Because generally speaking, the female is seeking the approval of others. And how does she get that? She usually pursues that through her external beauty. Females who know that they're not very valued for their attractiveness, they pursue external validation through accomplishment, right? Getting a high paying job, getting academic honors, things like that. These types of personalities you also have to be cautious of, because when they're pursuing external validation through the high paying salary or the important job or the academic degrees, those are the women who are often going to fall into competition with the male. And if a woman is in competition with you, you will have a very difficult time getting along with her, because anything that you achieve, rather than praising you for it, she's going to try to outdo you. And the reason for that is based on her own self-examination of saying, okay, I'm not the good-looking girl, I'm not the girl with the nice body, I gotta be the brainiac, I gotta be the achiever, I gotta strive. And so she's gonna be striving against you. The only way you can find a woman who is not suffering from that mentality is if she was raised by a strong father. Most of the time that's not the case. And that's why, generally speaking, if you find that she has a weak father, you're gonna have a lot more work to do to build your relationship with this woman and make sure that she respects you as a leader. So remember, do not chase a woman, because if you chase a woman, it will lead you nowhere. Because for the most part, women are going nowhere. If you take it biblically, Eve was put on earth as a supporter, as a helper to Adam. Adam was put on earth with a mission. Eve's only mission was to support Adam. You'll find great women, and the thing that really thrills them is being with a great man, because they want to help him rise up. They want to raise his children. They want to cook him nutritious meals. That's a good woman. Most of the women who purport to be ambitious, for the most part, they're not truly ambitious. And I know this because I've worked with them. I've managed them. And the women, even in medical school, when they want to become doctors, most of them don't become surgeons because it requires a higher number of hours. And they know psychologically, they eventually want to get pregnant. They want to spend time with their kids. Whereas a man, even if he has kids, he still wants to go extra hours in the office. And as it has been said, you never lose women chasing money, but you will lose many, many dollars chasing women. I'll say that one more time. You don't lose women chasing money, but you will lose a lot of money chasing women. So remember that you always have to be goal focused, because if you achieve your goals will never abandon you. Your goals will never put you down. Your goals will never ask you for child support. But a woman, when things go wrong, she might become one of your worst enemies. And that's what you're seeking to avoid. So always keep them in that side position under the clear reality that they can be switched in and switched out at a moment's notice. Because what I tell you in terms of my philosophy is that you must live as a stoic. You must live as a Taoist, which is to say that you take life as it comes and you're living in the present. So if you have to let it go, you feel fine about that because you haven't lost anything. She was never promised to be in your future. The only thing that you really need to stay focused on is keeping yourself sharp, because the sharper you are, the more value you have. And you should know, if you always have value as a man, women will always attract to you. Always. I kid you not. Literally, because of this pandemic, I have to exercise in the parking lot in my gated community. There's been times when there have been multiple cars driving by and will stop and roll down the window just to talk a little shit to me. You see what I'm saying? Because strength will always be valuable in this world. A real man will always be valuable in this world. So if you're chasing sex, you're chasing a woman. And the really the worst thing in chasing sex is that basically you have a person who's wildly insecure, a person who literally has no true goals in their life except to be validated by external parties, a person who's truly sexually interested in satisfying herself, but is going to withhold it from you merely to control you. That's not a person you want to follow. You need to follow the pimp model, wherein you withhold sex until you know that you've already taken over her mind and her heart. In 2020, a female will give away her sex freely. You see, she'll give away her sex on a one-night stand. She'll give away her sex when she's out on vacation and she thinks no one's gonna know that she was out whoring herself around with multiple guys. When she thinks she likes you, that's when she's gonna withhold sex from you as a tool for her own control. Let me give you a quick example. I was talking to a young lady, gorgeous woman, and she told me that she was in a 6-year relationship with a man, but for the last 2 years of the relationship, she was celibate. And I said, why would you do that? That sounds like you were trying to psychologically torture the guy. She says, no, I wasn't trying to do that. It's just that I didn't want to be in the relationship, but I didn't know how to break up with him. So it was really like, I just wasn't attracted to him. I fell out of love with him. Well then, why would you stay in the relationship for an additional 2 years and torture the guy? The reason that she became celibate in the last 2 years of the relationship is because she was using sex as a tool to control and humiliate this man. And he was obviously too weak and too whipped to get out of the relationship. Because if you're in a relationship and a female is withholding sex from you over a long period of time, she's doing that solely to destroy you. Because the truth is, if she's with you and she's not giving you sex, she should really be worried about where else you're getting sex. So if she's not giving you sex, that shows that she has a very low value of you and a low opinion of you, so low that she's not even worried about you cheating on her. You understand what I'm saying? So that's truly a terrible thing if they're instrumentalizing sex. And another tip for you guys, if you're involved with a woman and you are consistently getting physical satisfaction from her, and then all of a sudden she withdraws that physical satisfaction, that should indicate that there's a psychological issue on her part. You understand what I'm saying? So either she's going through something that is a past trauma that's being brought up, or she's trying to manipulate and control you, or she has religious guilt. Whatever the case is, all of those things are bad, and you need to recategorize her into a woman that you're not going to make a priority. And another thing to remember is that, ironically, when you make a woman a low priority, you probably are going to become a higher priority for her. Why is that? Because as I pointed out, the #1 key to female nature is insecurity. So the moment you show a lack of interest, they increase their pursuit of you. Because another thing about female nature is that they are deeply sexual animals. Honestly, almost to the point where it's perverse. I'll give you a few stories. I can tell you of multiple women who have told me, not only do they watch gay, like homosexual males engaging with one another, and that turns them off. These are the levels of like sexual deviance that you're dealing with in the female. Further, in terms of their masturbatory practices, their masturbation that is, they're using like damn near power tools just to get off. And the worst thing about it is it's desensitizing the vagina. So by the time you deal with her, the vagina is going to be dry. You know, by the time you deal with her, it's going to be very hard to please her sexually. The important thing to know about her like very high level of sex drive is that it's often repressed because they feel in this society they can't be honest about their sex drive. So they're repressing it, which makes them even more perverse. Because you're dealing with someone who has a monstrous sex drive, but they're trying to repress it so that they can control you. The reason they have to repress the sex drive is because they know that generally speaking, you want sex and it's their only tool to control you. And here's how you know it's their only tool. I told you, gentlemen, one rule. When you look at a woman, to assess her true value, ask yourself, if she did not have a vagina, if she didn't have a nice body or a pretty face, what would her true value be? And generally speaking, her true value would be very low, right? So because of that, they use the vagina to mind control you.